From the glacier and back into the mines. Windy Well is the first mineshaft since Crocodile Cauldron, but it's nothing like those levels. Actually, it's exactly like those levels. But you know what? I like those levels. So having one more is fine by me. This is part 34 of Overthinking Donkey Kong Country 2. I've had some shocking video intros this series, but that has to be the worst so far, right? The series isn't over, so let's see if we can't sink a little lower before it's all said and done. Windy Well is the final mineshaft level, and it's a bittersweet moment for me. I always get a bit sad when we see the last of a tile set. I don't know why. You can always go back and replay the old levels. Anyway, Windy Well separates itself from the other two levels initially by its color palette. While Cannon's Claim and Squawks' shaft had earth tones for the walls, likely reflecting the lava below, and incandescent lighting strung about, Windy Well's walls are cold grey stone, along with the greenish blue crystals in the background and the high color temperature of the hanging lights. It feels like a nice cohesive progression from the glacier tile set that preceded it and into the castle that follows it. The level's central mechanic is the updrafts, hence the name. All throughout the level, you can ride the upward gales over pits, past enemies, and up to new areas. It's a double-edged sword though, because mistiming your jumps, or your movements as the wind slowly pushes you up and drops you down, can end up with you copping a hit or worse. This level feels like the sister level to Gusty Glade to me, being a sort of vertically oriented equivalent of the same basic principle. As for the actual level layout, it progresses fairly well, I guess. It starts out with some easy ones, both covering horizontal runs of pits and vertical progressions past zingers, before getting a bit more complicated. Take your time your movements, don't be an arsehole and bite off more than you can chew, and you'll be fine. Crook shows up in the back half, and the zingers ramp up their numbers, but it's more or less business as usual, with a few more awkward movement patterns from the zingers and the hooks of the aforementioned crooks being the main challenge. But if you made it this far, you'll be fine. The bonus areas can be a bit of a pain. But if you've got both Kongs with you, I don't think it's a bad idea to throw one of them under the bus to reach the barrels. It's the second appearance of the green kutlass, the faster of the two, and there are a total of 57 zingers in this level, which I feel is a bit overkill. I feel like I'm going to be in the minority here, but Windy Well is probably in my top 5 hardest levels. Animal Antics, Screech's Sprint, and Toxic Tower are no-brainers, but there aren't any other levels that really stick out to me as being overly difficult, except for this one. And it's not that it's even that bad. My dumb monkey brain just can't wrap itself around the timing of the wind. There are a few things we could speculate upon here. Is the wind coming from the forest, channeled through a series of caves? Is it thermal exhaust from the volcanic activity far below? Maybe that's what's heating the castle. Is the name Windy Well significant beyond just addressing the wind? Like, is it actually a well for the castle? Could it serve as a sort of foundation for the castle, as opposed to a mine? I get the impression that despite the tile set and the precious stones in the background, Windy Well is not actually a mine. If it were either the well or foundation of the keep, then perhaps this is a sort of secret entrance into the castle. Maybe K. Rool hadn't considered or planned for an attack from this direction. This is a terrible note to end on, but I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't include it in this video. They created new assets for the Kongs, just for this level. They're used once, and that's it. I don't know, I just find that really impressive. Like, they could have said fuck it and just used the jump frames or something, or scrapped the level idea entirely. But they went out of their way to do the, let's be honest, probably several hours of work, and allocated memory on the, 2 megabytes of space they had? Also, this level could look a little more special. That's the kind of game this is. And just like that, we're done with one of my favorite tile sets of the game. I feel like I didn't do this level justice here. It's just that, after everything we've covered in the past, there's not much left to really go into. Windy Well is a great level and a fitting send-off for the mineshaft tile sets, and I love it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you soon for Castle Crush.